The inflation, the oil prices influence in Russia, foreign trade with China, Russian ruble, the unemployment rate. The industries continue collapsing. This is the latest update of Russian economy. March 2025. On top of that, I'll give you the big picture of what's happening in Russia at the end of this live stream. Howdy, everyone. My name is Konstantin, and welcome to Inside Russia, the YouTube channel where usual Russia is explained by the unusual Russian. As usual, you will not find any BS, propaganda, or lies. You will only find truth, common sense, and logic. And some emotions too, because I am a human being. Human being, after all. Well, friends, Russia is reminding me of a volcano that is in the early stages of eruption, or a kettle where the water is boiling. Okay, things are happening, very dynamic. Events, very serious events happen every week, and the country is feverish. Okay, and I would like to give you the economic update. I'd like to explain a few areas of Russian economy that have seen a significant change from my last update, just 2 weeks ago, by the way. I'll start with the inflation. Inflation in Russia is galloping. It is official. This past week, according to Росстат, Russia's statistics agency, the inflation was recorded at 0.06%. Official Росстат data says that in 2025, the inflation since the beginning of the year, the inflation has amounted to 10.2% for the annual basis, year-to-year basis. And that's double digits. That's official now, 10.2%. Russia is in the state of galloping inflation. I'll remind you, galloping is from 10% and on, double digits, and from 40% and on, that's hyperinflation. So it is official. Russia is in the stage of galloping inflation. Now, that's only the official data. Росстат. We all know that Росстат cooks data, especially of the inflation. Just think of this one very simple economic fact that kind of doesn't make any sense if you believe Росстат, but makes perfect sense if you accept the fact that Росстат lies. Now, if you have $1,000 in your pocket, in your hands, and you go to a commercial bank in Russia, well, you can't really deposit $100. You can, but on certain conditions. Let's say you have 100,000 rubles. That's an equivalent of, give or take, $1,000. All right. So you go and take that amount to the bank, and the bank most likely will offer you around 25% return, annual return. A deposit, you can choose from different bank products, different deposits. Just think about it, 25%. In the beginning of the year, you deposit, 100,000. At the end of the year, you get 125,000. Not bad, right? Now, how is this possible if the inflation, official inflation, is only 10%? It doesn't make any sense. No one would do business. You would just sell everything, all your assets, you would just cash out, take that cash, and would put it on deposits in the bank. And you would be making 15% on top of the inflation. Sweet deal. That's what I would do if the inflation was in reality 10.2%. It's not. In this very fact, there's a huge gap between the official data and the bank deposits. It tells us that the data we get from Росстат is lies. Now, it's really hard to say what is the real inflation, but a lot of experts have agreed that in 2024, the real life inflation amounted to around 38%. Now, this year, we're seeing higher inflation, then we can only guess that it's above 40%. I think the data, real life data, will be coming out later in the year. Okay, I'm making my assumption right now, it's over 40%. I'm just gonna give you a few prices. Since the beginning of this year, potatoes are up 20%. Just in 1 week, from the 11th to the 17th of March, potato prices went up 3.6%. 7 days. In Rostov province, south of Russia, where people grow potatoes everywhere, where every other farm grows potatoes, the price of potatoes has hit 80 rubles per kilo, which is, in plain Russian language, is kind of insane. Cabbage is up 12% since beginning of the year. Tomatoes, bananas, vodka are up 9%. Beetroot up 8%. Frozen fish up 7%. Onions and apples up 6%. Just to give you an understanding on how prices are skyrocketing in Russia right now. Well, just to finish this segment about inflation, I tell you that I talk to people in Russia every day. They're my circle of contacts, family, friends, former colleagues, people I know, and everyone complains these days of how prices are just crazy. Every single person. Everyone is feeling the pinch. Number 2, global oil prices. The trend for oil prices is the decline. Oil price is crucial for Russia because oil is the bread maker of Russian economy. Yes, Russian oil exports have declined due to the sanctions. Yes, Russian oil is being sold with substantial discount, but it still remains a bread maker. And in recent weeks, both the Chinese and the Indians have resumed accepting Russian oil again. I remind you, due to the US sanctions, both India and China started refusing to buy Russian oil at the end of 2024. Then came Donald Trump, and the USA started looking the other way. Before it was enforcing the sanctions, and the enforcement was intensifying, constantly intensifying. But then, after about January 20th, the USA started looking the other way. And de facto, the US sanctions right now are not being enforced. And both India and China are feeling that very well. They monitor the situation. So they have decided to make a few dollars, well, quite a few dollars, let's say, and they started accepting discounted Russian oil again. Hey, why not? Cheap oil, right? Better than buying from Iran, from Saudi Arabia. Might as well buy from Russia with a huge discount. Okay. Russian oil called Urals is being traded for around $56 a barrel right now in March, and that's a decline compared to $59 in February. And guess what? That's low, low, low. It's not enough. That is not going to balance Russian federal budget. The price of oil that balances the budget. And again, oil is number one for the revenue part of Russian budget. So the number is 70. Whatever is below 70, not good. The budget is in red. Above 70, good. Okay, so now it's 56. Not good. So the trend is Russian revenue, export revenue part of the budget will be shrinking. What's a good thing, because the less money Russia has, the less it can produce weapons, the less it can pay the soldiers, the less it can continue the war. It's just the less money Russia has, the harder it is to wage the war in Ukraine. So number 3, foreign trade with China. And before I get there, I would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone. I've been hit by a wave of emails. A lot of people watched my video yesterday about me. Well, I don't really want to bring it up, but thank you so very much. Your support is felt right here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Like I said yesterday, your support is much needed and appreciated now. Your words, your love, your prayers, and I've received that. And it's making me feel much better. You are inspiring me to move forward. You're giving me energy to continue my work. Thank you. Thank you, friends. So number 3, foreign trade with China declined by 7.1% in 2025. Well, and to be precise, in 2 months of 2025. Imports from China declined by 10.9%. Exports to China, and that's mostly mineral resources, also declined by 3.9%. We have been seeing decline starting mid-summer of 2024. And it's been intensifying. And this is a very important economic indicator for Russia, because Russia doesn't produce much. It heavily relies on imports, mostly from China. Now, imagine that Russia, the richest, the largest country in the world, sells its richest natural resources unprocessed to get money, and then uses that money to turn around and import everything, buy everything, literally everything: consumer goods, chemical products, drugs, medical equipment, cars, technologies, trucks, electronics, and even food, agricultural products, you name it. And it gives money back to China, and China sells the goods. So this is insane, okay? The big picture of Russia is not that well. Russia sells unprocessed raw materials to China, the richest. Chinese use their brains, use their labor, use their technologies that they come up with to process everything, to make stuff, and sell it back to Russia at a huge markup. Russia is actually financing China. But anyway, I'm sorry. So, like I said, the big picture for Russia is not good. And this is why foreign trade with China is very important for us to monitor and to know. Sort of gives us the economy temperature, like body temperature. And we are seeing the cooling off. Russians are importing much less from China, and the Chinese are buying much less from Russia. Less money inside Russia to spend, and obstacles on top of that, the sanctions, the banking transactions don't go through and stuff like that, equals to less is bought from China. And this is one of those things. It's a real indicator. Okay, you can say Russian propaganda can say anything it wants to. Russian economy is doing great. Vladimir Putin's told us many times Russia has circumvented all the sanctions. Hey, this is the bottom line. Russia has started buying less from China because Russian people demand less now. They have less money. They have harder life. They're earning less. They're saving more. They're spending more on food. They're spending more on the utilities. So they have less money for the Chinese cars and Chinese electronics and clothing and stuff like that. All right. This is a real indicator of the cooling off of Russian economy. Number 4, Russian ruble exchange rate. I am asked a lot of what's going on with Russian ruble. We have seen the roller coaster, the biggest roller coaster in years, starting, I'd say September of 2024, from around $90 rubles per dollar. Russian ruble went to 111 rubles for dollar, and now it's back to 84 rubles for dollar. Wow, just wow. That is volatility. Russian ruble has gained lots of value in just the last 6 weeks. Right now, if you want to exchange $1 for rubles, you'll get 84 rubles for it. And that's the lowest since the summer of 2024. The economic reason is derived from a decline of foreign trade with China. And let me explain in more detail. Less is imported, less is paid to the Chinese in dollars. Therefore, fewer dollars are bought inside Russia. The companies don't buy as many dollars to transfer to China. And that is definitely putting the pressure on Russian ruble. There's excess of dollars inside the country. What's important here is that current strong ruble is not a good sign. It's actually quite a bad sign. It is a clear sign of economic apocalypse. And I kid you not, that's apocalypse. I call it economic tsunami. Strong ruble, it is the hard landing. It kind of looks like the first half of 2022. If you remember, Russian economy crashed. Not for long, but it crashed for a few months because no one really knew what was going on. Everyone was afraid of apocalyptic scenarios. And what saved Russian economy back then is the price of oil went up big time. Remember how much you were paying for a gallon of gasoline at the gas stations in, let's say, May of 2022? A lot. I think in California, $7.50. All right, and that money was going straight to Russia. Russia was benefiting. And then Russia was just swimming in money in the first half of 2022. And, well, actually in the entire 2022, because the first sanctions were hit in December 6th. So that helped to overcome this economic collapse, soften it up, so to speak. It helped Russian government to accumulate a great deal of savings that lasted for basically 3 years. 2.5 years now. Now we are seeing the same scenario as in the first half of 2022. Economy is quickly slowing down, cooling off. In Russia, they're saying, oh, it's cooling off. Not a big deal, just a little cooler than before. It's declining very fast and very sharp. There are two economies in Russia right now. War economy and civil economy. War economy is still going strong. The civil economy is huge decline. And hard ruble is the result of the civil economy decline. Well, it's a sign of the civil economy declining. I will tell more about mass layoffs. I will tell more about in this live stream and in tomorrow's economic news update, Crazy Friday news update. I will, in the economic section, I will tell more of how much more people are paying for the utilities now, for food, with the examples. Okay, obviously, they save on everything except for food and the utilities. I talk to my mom daily, and that's what she does. She's cutting on her expenses for everything except for food and utilities. She can't cut on food. She can't cut on the utilities, you know? And this is what's happening. That's why Russian ruble is strong. Another way of why Russian ruble is strong now, just a tiny support of the ruble. Since February 12th, when Donald Trump called Vladimir Putin first, for the first time, a lot of investors returned dollars, exchanged dollars for rubles. They bought rubles on good expectations, positive expectations for ruble. Okay, sanctions lifted, natural gas flowing back to Europe. That's what has been discussed, and so they were betting on ruble. Now nothing is happening. They're seeing continuing decline of the economy. They're seeing nothing is happening with the sanctions, with Russian exports and so forth. On the contrary, Russian exports are actually declining. Therefore, they're selling the rubles. They buying dollars back. And they taking money out of the economy. And this process is just starting. And I'm pretty sure we're going to be seeing Russian ruble devaluing because of the investors leaving Russian ruble. Okay, but for the past 8 weeks or so, this has also helped to keep Russian ruble strong. The prognosis for the next few weeks, I think that we will see a sharp decline in value of Russian ruble. I would say the price will be around 100, perhaps even more, for $1 American in about 4 weeks. I want you to mark my words. Let's come back in, let's say, in May 1st and see if I was right or wrong. Number 5, the unemployment rate. There's still no official data. Believe it or not, but unemployment is really hard to obtain the information on. As far as I understand, there's no official data. And then just different government bodies give their estimations. Based on those estimations, I call Russian unemployment around 2% right now. 2, perhaps 2.2%. That's the range. We know 2 major factors that are keeping unemployment low. First is the war. People simply dying at the front line in Ukraine. And the second is mass exodus of people from Russia. It happened in September, well, at the end of 2022 when mobilization was announced, and it's still happening. Here in Tashkent, we still get Russian families. A few families come every, 3-4 weeks, join Tashkent Breakfast Club. So the Russians leaving, the exodus, not the exodus any longer, but the emigration is still continuous. Now, this also very recent but expected phenomenon started happening. Massive layoffs despite low unemployment. These two things contradict each other, You have companies that can't find people, unemployment is low, and then you have companies laying people off. It's happening due to the economic decline. And this is another real world indicator. you cannot argue with it. When someone is telling you, or you're reading in some, Western media that Russian economy is doing well, in The Economist, in the Wall Street Journal, in New York Times, I've read that, okay? Remember this indicator, layoffs happening in Russia. Because when economy is strong, companies are hiring. When the economy is in decline, companies start cutting costs. They try to save. They fire. They're laying people off. And it's happening right now. The war economy is going strong. Not too many changes there. All positions are filled. Perhaps there is a large number unfilled positions, but things are stable in the war economy, okay? The civil economy is crushing. It is really crushing hard. And therefore, companies in the civil economy who produce civil products, goods and services, they earn less. They sell less. They earn less. They are under pressure. There's a failing demand from Russian people because Russian people are becoming poorer. They can't spend so much for stuff anymore. So these companies cut costs. What is the biggest cost? Labor. So these companies lay workers off. We are witnessing just the start of this period of massive layoffs. And it all started with IT personnel. In Russia, we say that как гром среди ясного неба. Just like a bolt of lightning from the clear sky, because no one was expecting it. But then Sber announced that it was laying off so many people. IT personnel, senior developers, commercial banks followed, and there was a first wave, and it still continues. Why? Because they are cutting costs. They are feeling the heat. They are the first ones. They're right on the economic edge because they feel bankruptcies, people defaulting on personal loans, companies defaulting on corporate debts. Okay, so they're trying to trim some fat. They started in December. And there were large layoffs right from the beginning. Then Gazprom jumped on the wagon and it started laying off lots of people. And now just announced another layoff. 1,500 people. I'll be covering more of that in Crazy Friday News Update in the economic section tomorrow. So please don't miss that. And other companies are jumping on the wagon. We're seeing more and more companies laying personnel off. And that's a clear sign the economy is not doing well. Number 6, the industry is collapsing. Well, just 2 weeks ago, I made quite an extensive update on the state of the troubled industries in Russia. The changes worth noticing in these 2 weeks are these. The coal mine industry is still in trouble. The real estate is in trouble, and the trouble is intensifying. And the new industry has started showing the signs of collapse. Now, first about coal mining industry. Nothing is happening there except for the situation is becoming worse and worse. 90% of coal mining companies are either in bankruptcy or in big financial troubles, because Russian coal is not needed anymore. Therefore, they do not sell anything to China, they do not earn. Nothing's happening. People are not getting paid. They are not getting laid off, because if you lay off, by law, you must pay whatever you owe. But there are ways around it in Russia. And then the coal mining companies are using that left and right. The industry commission for coal mining industry is at work, as far as I know. I have not heard of any radical decisions made, but I'll be keeping my eyes open. The next industry in trouble is real estate. the real estate construction is stopped. There's no new construction. Nothing is commenced. Well, there's very little commenced. Why? Because people are not buying. The demand is very low. People cannot take mortgages at what, 32, 33, 35 annual percent, 35% annual. That is absolutely insane. And a lot of Russians would save money, earn enough, and would pay for real estate in cash. That's not happening either because people do not have cash any longer. And in this turbulent time, real estate does not look like a good investment because there have been rumors that the prices of real estate will fall in the future. The first signs of this fall in Moscow have started. I have seen the signs. The fall in 2025 so far is 6%. Now, I'm going to be talking later about that. It's an unconfirmed number. It's been derived by economists, experts on real estate market, when they purify the cost of 1 square meter. Okay, this is something I'm looking at right now. I'm just telling you that this is the number I have seen. And it all starts with the first step. You start seeing the numbers, unusual numbers, and then, you analyze them, and in many cases, they start growing. So I have seen 6% price decline of real estate apartments prices in Moscow. More on that later. The last industry I would like to talk about, the new industry has started showing the signs of collapse. And that industry is cement. The producers of cement are facing huge troubles. In the second half of 2024, the last year, demand for cement began to collapse. In particular, the October last year, cement consumption, cement demand, cement consumption in Russia decreased by 21%. Now, think of this number. Some of you watching this right now are in construction. Think what 21% decline in cement consumption means for real estate industry. In December, it got worse, 24% decline. The drop of consumption, 24%. I quote Dmitry Zemlyansky, the director of the Center for Spatial Analysis and Regional Diagnostics at the Cement Producers Association. Already last year, we began to face a deterioration in the internal situation related to the demand for cement. And further expectations here are not the most favorable, I unquote. And we all understand that the cement industry is just another industry to find itself in crisis. It's a ripple effect, economic ripple effect. If there is an economic impact on real estate, for example, a sudden drop in people's earnings and who can't, afford new real estate, and they're forced to sell existing real estate, okay? There's some kind of event, and we have seen this event, that's the war and the decline in the civil economy, and there's just less money available in a civil economy. So, and then there's a ripple effect. There are dozens of industries are affected. Furniture, cement, materials, asphalt, you name it. People start buying real estate, less real estate, and, the builders, general contractors, they start buying less of everything because they don't build that much. starting with machinery and ending with, I don't know, decor, materials, pipes, and so forth. Dozens of other industries are harmed. And this is exactly what we're seeing happening in Russia. The cement industry is the first, but that's just another industry. And I forecast a big decline in other industries as well. Now, enough of that. I'd like to paint you a general picture of what I'm seeing with the Russian economy at the end of March. You see, all these indicators I give you here today, and I usually give you what's going on inside in the industries, the key economic indicators, economic news. They're all small pieces of the big puzzle called real Russian economy. I can't just go and get the numbers at Rosstat, Russia's statistics agency. I can't just analyze those numbers and tell you, this is how the Russian economy is performing right now, based on Rosstat numbers. No, sir. No, ma'am. Half of those numbers are classified. For example, they have classified lots of info that is unfavorable, that shows that something is sinister is going on in Russia. Okay, for example, oil refining. Once the attacks from Ukraine started on oil refineries, there has been a large drop in gasoline, diesel fuel. How much, we don't know, because they have classified this information. And other areas of the economy that are not doing well, they're just classified. And the data they give us is cooked anyway, is cooked to their liking to make Putin look good. Okay, when he says Russian economy in 2023 is number 5 in the world, okay, Rosstat needs to cook the numbers to somehow make it look like Russian economy is number 5. Otherwise, Vladimir Putin would be angry. Okay, and that's exactly what they do. So what I do is I find real pieces of data, and they come from different sources. I assemble them, and I draw the big, real picture of Russian economy. And this is what I'm seeing at the end of March of 2025. To sum it up, euphoria and speculations. It all started on February 12th with Donald Trump calling Vladimir Putin. They kicked off the negotiation process, and Russian markets received the first positive signal since the start of the war. In 3 years, the first positive signal, okay? And they rallied on expectations. And for the last 6 weeks, we have seen nothing but hype, hype, hype. Western brands coming back to Russia. US sanctions will be lifted soon, like tomorrow or next week. Donald Trump will make sure of that. Nord Stream pipeline is being bought by the Americans, and after the deal is done, Russian natural gas will flow to Europe again, and Russia will swim in European gas money, And these rumors have been running wild. Therefore, the markets went up and down like a roller coaster. At the same time, in parallel, there's real world, nothing different has happened in real economy. Both war and civil economies. The war economy is still going strong. They still work 3 shifts. They still produce as many tanks, planes, missiles, ammo, guns as they can, okay? They have reached plateau. They can produce more, but they're not producing less. They're keeping on the same level. And the Russian civil economy keeps on declining big time. It keeps on lending. They calling it lending. Russian economy is soft lending. BS. It's hard lending, okay? And the signs are right there. I've told you the signs, some of that, and there are more. The hype is getting over now, and the economy is continues hard landing very, very fast. And this is what is happening in general. This is the picture that I'm seeing. Nothing is changing. There have been a lot of talks, speculations, and the markets have reacted. A lot of people decided to bet on ruble and make some money, and they actually have money. They have made money. They bought ruble at. They sold ruble. They sold dollars at 100, and now they're buying at 84. Okay, so lots of investors made quick money, but they pulling away from it, and that's pretty much the only real change we're seeing. Everything else, we must divide the hype and real economic events. And nothing unexpected has happened in Russian economy. Things are getting worse. We're seeing signs of it. This is it. This is the picture of Russian economy at the end of March. The news, oh boy, there are so many of them. Me and Oля, we're trying to keep up. We upload 9 news a day that we find important. We find that show what is going on in Russia, including Russian economy. I call it Formula 54, 9 news per day, 54 news a week, Sunday off. If you want to stay on top of things Russia, including Russian economy, you know where to go. Sign up, become Patreon. You will find everything you need to know there. Friends, before I turn the live stream chat on, I would like to, first of all, thank you. I already thanked once, but that's not enough. I am receiving a lot of support from you. Lots of prayers, lots of love, lots of messages with encouragement. A few attorneys have contacted me offering their services. Thank you. Very hard time. I'm still in the, I'm feeling, obviously, I'm feeling down. Life goes on. I continue my fight. I continue my mission. I do it for myself, for my family, for my children, for you, for the community. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'd like to turn the live stream chat on now. And by the way, while I'm doing that, if you haven't liked this live stream, you can do that now. I appreciate it so much. Thank you. I have tried hard today. Oh, every day. Just I invite everyone to join me in the live stream for a question and answer session. And your comments are always appreciated. This is my most favorite part of any live stream. When I turn the live stream comments on, gosh, it's been quite a long message. Economy is always complicated and long, so I apologize. About 20 minutes or so. Make the best out of it. So, as usual, I'd like to acknowledge and thank the moderation team, Lorna, Mammy S. I'm sorry, Mammy K, Bob S. Too much talking, you know. Mommy K, Bob S, Harry Potnan, Amir, and Dirk. Thank you, friends. This community is awesome. It is pleasant. We have certain rules. No US politics. No fighting, no insulting. that's why it's a pleasure to be in the live stream chats. In the last few days, Patreon chat and Patreon comments have gotten out of hand, and I start moderating Patreon. I'm applying the same rules basically as here in this channel into a Patreon community to make that community is it's not like it's hostile now, but I just don't want any fighting, any insults, any hostility, any discussing US politics and so forth. So please keep this community clean. Let's make Patreon clean too. And if you want me to see your comment or question easier, please put it in caps. As usual, put inside Russia after @ so it's highlighted by a large orange box, much easier for me to see. Thank you. I see the usual suspects here. Ragnar from Estonia, howdy. John McLean, hope your dieting goes well. Terry, Pinto the Peanut, Joe's Rames, Stefan Leitmotiv from Bowie, Maryland. David, Animal Guy, howdy. Ho, Roy Cousins, Mr. Kaliskin, Ron Gravel, Shalmanzer, Mr. H, Mr. S, thank you for coming. Amir, thank you so much. I'm keeping the faith, yes. That would be very unfortunate to lose faith. I pray I'll tell you a little secret, okay? We finish the live streams with a prayer, and the prayer is always the same. Sometimes I put different things into it, but for the most part. And in this prayer, I ask God to help other people. And I sincerely want God to help others who are in need. I ask what I want for myself. I want to be helped in the very same way. If I am hungry, I would want to have help. If I am homeless or jobless, or this is what I always ask for. And one of the things I make sure that I always ask for is there are a lot of people out there who are losing their faith. And that's one of the worst things can happen to a person. And I've gone through a couple periods of my life, very hard ones. And I know what it is to be losing faith. I haven't lost faith, okay? I didn't lose back then. But I kind of got a glimpse of the feeling when you are in such despair that you get to a point where you might start losing faith, and that's not a good place to be. And I pray every single day for others, so God helps those who are losing their faith, and I hope that God helps me so I never get to that point. So thank you, Amir. Terry Carter, Pulaski, Virginia, howdy. As per yesterday, I can be called as a witness to your live stream with your children. Thank you so much, friend. Thank you, Terry. A lot of people wrote me, just do a DNA test, but doesn't matter. That's not what they're looking for. They're looking for a relationship with your child. They're looking for telephone conversations, child support paid, trips together. They're looking that you haven't lost touch with your child. And I mean, they're my kids. If I lose touch with them, I lose touch with myself, rather. How can I do that? What would I be living for then? And then I have not just tons of evidence, there's evidence all around me. And it's all in writing, it's all in pictures, it's all in plane tickets and money. And this is what I have given bulletproof evidence. And my attorney, a very good one, also, got the evidence, helped Sky to do all the forms. And we had just no doubts about that getting approved. And just like that. Not enough evidence that you're father with a relationship. I want to stay away from it. I just don't want to think about it. That just puts me down. The most difficult name for me to say, Karen Barden, Hertfordshire. Here you go, Hertfordshire. I think I'm much better than before. Thank you so much. Stefan, I'm not sure how it's right. Will this economy facade convince the US, or will they get how bad Russia is really doing? It's a very easy question to answer and a very tough one at the same time. The easy one is, you take any economist, you take any expert, okay, any politologist, political scientist, and you ask about Russian economy. Any economist will look at the key indicators and will give a short resume of Russian economy. Ask ChatGPT, for goodness sake, Easy. The United States, these people, they must know what's going on. For goodness sake, they have the CIA, the intelligence, the best in the, supposed to be the best in the world. I don't know, if you're the president of the United States, give the order to the CIA to gather you economic report and to gather daily economic reports and inform you every morning at breakfast while you're drinking coffee on how Russia is doing. So it's out there on the surface. Will they understand how bad Russia is doing? That is the difficult question. I really don't know. I don't know. What's going on is madness. Terry, is there going to be a food shortages, or is it only the prices the problem? The prices, of course. I doubt there would be a food shortage because Russian agriculture was under strain last year in 2024. Two big problems. First problem was seeds, foreign seeds from the Netherlands. The Dutch are the best at genetically modifying seeds that yield lots of harvest, right? Take potatoes. Why are potatoes so expensive now? Because they're using Russian seeds for potatoes, the grandma style. That's what I used to do when I was a kid. I was helping my grandma and grandpa. We would eat all the potatoes that we had grown previous year, but we would leave a certain portion, and until spring, until about May. And then in May, we would cut them into different pieces and we would plant them. So they give us another harvest in September. And that's what they're doing now. But that's not a lot of potatoes, okay? Not very efficient. I mean, you can feed yourself with potatoes like that, but you can't if you're running a large farm with hundreds, thousands of people and machinery and stuff like that. You can't do that. You need to go to the Dutch, knock on the door, say, hey, please sell us some good stuff, good potatoes, so we can make money, okay? We can feed people. And that's not happening. That was in 2024. It's much worse, but it was already the problem last year. And remember the frosts in the middle of May? That doesn't usually happen. That killed 25% of crops, the harvest. And still, there's no shortage. I mean, if anyone tells you that the shortages of food right now in Russia, don't believe it. They're not. No, it's just the food is expensive. Like I said, potato is going up. But guess what happens? You don't buy a new shirt. You buy more potatoes. You don't go watch a movie. You buy potatoes. You don't travel much. You don't vacation anymore. Okay, whatever you used to spend money on, you stop. You spend money on potatoes now, on flour. You used to go out. You don't anymore because it's expensive. You buy potatoes, you buy flours, and you cook at home. That's what happens. So no, there will be not in a couple years, and then the future is so uncertain right now. I cannot tell you for far in advance, but not in a couple years there will not be shortages of potatoes. But everything, I guarantee you, everything will be much more expensive. You know, you are keeping me sane. You're keeping me actually feeling good. Faith Russert, so good to see you. Thank you for coming. Because once I start thinking of the immigration status, and it really puts me down. When I talk of the economy, when I answer your questions, you know, I'm feeling now kind of like I was feeling when I landed in Tashkent. I was absolutely empty. I thought that my life was over. And the only thing I was doing, I was walking back and forth, morning till night, and I was listening to the music. Once the music stopped, I would go back into thinking, and thoughts were not good. Okay, so I kept playing music over and over and over loud so I wouldn't think, and I concentrated on the music. 3 days I was walking back and forth, and I started noticing people around me doing the same thing. Right now, it's kind of the same thing. I do something. I was preparing for the stream. I don't think of anything. That's good. Once I start thinking about it, not good. Um, by the way, I will start answering emails and messages after this live stream to those who wrote me. Thank you for this overwhelming support. Thank you for your messages. Thank you for the coffees at Buy Me Coffee. No thanks for PayPal. I received a few, people sent me money on PayPal. Thank you so much. Ann Larson, good to see you. I hope Hannah is doing well. The underdog is present. Also good to see you. L Moonlight, there's clearly a Russian left in you. You endure hardship. Just keep going. A respectable attribute. We could use some of that in our Kushi West where people quit when it gets tough. What do I answer to that? There are times when I wake up and it's really hard to get out of bed. That gets that bad. And probably if I was alone, I would not get out of bed. It's, that thought kind of scares me. I'm being honest right now, and well, always. It's, I'm being honest about something very personal right now. Okay. Well, I hear Michael. He walks in and he goes. He wakes up earlier than me because I go to bed. He's in bed by 10, and I'm in bed by 3 a.m. Right. So he wakes up, and then when I wake up, I start hearing him and Natasha, and him getting ready for school. And then Ola sends me a message on Telegram. And then I have messages from you, from the community, from the mods, from Brain Drain. We're doing fantastic, by the way. We have really kicked off the operations. We have a team of fantastic people, a few attorneys, Wizard, tech wizard from California, couple people here in Tashkent, and I receive messages from them. And sometimes Jake and Sky, message me, and my mom, and I come alive, and that gives me strength to move forward. Don't think I'm such a strong guy and I endure hardship and stuff like that. It's really hard, okay? But it's them and it's you who keep me going. That's why I keep thanking you every single day. And I think a lot of people don't understand what this community, what you mean for me, okay? You keep me going. You inspire. You give me manner. You energize me, So thank you. Then Olette, try Canada. Thank you from Canada. I'm sorry, TY. Oh, thank you from Uzbekistan. Then just something in here. Chris Fox, Gloria, Jan Lindner. Thank you so much. Kathy S. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for praying. God 420. Howdy, God 420. Ingvar from Norway. Uvelas Gutnabend. Marcus from South Africa. Howdy. All right. Time is running out. Just a couple questions. Elsha, good to see you. Thank you for coming. Keep on trying. Ole had also success when she tried for the second time. No. She tried for the third time. Well, Ole was so discouraged. She came second time. She was denied here in Uzbekistan. And there were 10 more people along with her in the room, and all were applying for student visas. And the denial rate was 100%. All 10 came out, and 2 or 3 of them, she said, were so shocked because they were returning students, meaning they were accepted to the US colleges. They got their visas, went there, spent, I think one person spent 2 years, another person spent 3 years. And, you have to renew your visa every year. So they came back to Uzbekistan to renew the visa and they got denied. And they literally came out like zombies, not knowing what to do. Oля was crying so much after the second time she was denied because we only had time was running out. It was 2nd or 3rd of August. And she needed to confirm everything by like August 26th or 27th. And the situation was dire because there are queues at the US embassies. It was pretty bad. I was the driving force behind her getting the visa because I dragged her. I made her follow me to go fly to 2 more countries to apply for visa in another country. Okay, that's where she got her visa. So not twice, but 3 times. Well, 3 attempts. The 3rd attempt was successful. Keep on trying. Elsha, I keep on trying. Just before this live stream, I had a brainstorming session with my attorney in Manus, and I'm not quitting. Okay, but I shouldn't be keeping trying because uh, this is my child. I mean, I didn't break any laws. I've never conspired anything against the USA. I love the country, and there's all evidence out there. I have not fabricated my story. Why do I have to keep on trying, you know? There's definitely something odd here. Peter D, watching you is like being able to visit a friend. Thank you, Peter. Thank you. I wish I could see your face, but your words are gold. Thank you. Please don't give up. You inspire me, and I appreciate you very much. Thank you. Thank you so much. You inspire me because these words, trust me, they're very therapeutic. Ron Gravel, is it wrong to ask you that you and your family consider Canada to move to? We're looking for lots of skilled professionals. I hope that's not out of line. No, no, Ron, that's not out of line. I appreciate very much. And a lot of Canadians reached out yesterday saying, Constantine, come to Canada. Well, a couple things about Canada. Canada is a wonderful country, one of the best in the world. I've met quite a few Canadians. I worked in Old Orchard Beach, Maine. I was an instructor at Sunday River, Bath, Maine. It's a resort, just like right next to Canadian border, not too far, like an hour drive or something like that. I have met a lot of Canadians, French Canadians from Montreal, and just regular Canadian folks. And you know what? I have not seen one unhappy or mean Canadian. Very nice, very happy people, very pleasant to be around. Um, just first of all, it's really difficult to get to Canada. Somehow, a lot of people in the West have this understanding that their country is like open for immigration. No. And same with Canada. Um, it's much easier to get to Canada by fabricating story, by asking for political asylum, by making things up online, than by like just getting there um, in a normal, right way. First of all, okay. The Canadian embassy won't even well. It doesn't exist in Uzbekistan. It's everything outsourced in American embassy. I cannot enter the American embassy here. Okay, my kids, both adults from Maine, born and raised in Maine, American citizenship only. Okay, they don't even speak Russian. Well, Sky speaks a little bit, but Jake doesn't. Canadian, American passport holders. They had an emergency situation here in Uzbekistan. Not a big one, but they needed to get to the US embassy. And guess what? They had their passports. They came and they were denied entry to the US embassy. In case of emergency, they were basically told to beat it by the American embassy. A lot of people, I witnessed it, okay? I couldn't believe it was happening. They did not let US citizens inside them. You're talking about me? How can I get I can't even apply for Canadian visa. How do you think I get to Canada? Okay, very difficult. Um, Second is Canada is very cold. Natasha has problem with cold. She needs warmer climate, and that kind of like puts cross on Canada, unfortunately, because I Canada is great. And the third is I'm tied with the USA because I lived there. It's like, you know, why do you fall in love with a person? Well, I kind of fell in love with the USA, and that out of all countries, I'd like to live there. Okay, but um, in some ways, probably Canada is better. But why do you love one person and you don't love another person? That's magic. Okay, in my case, magic is the USA. Well, clearly the USA, the US government doesn't want me. But yeah. So again, Thank you so much, Ron. I appreciate that. And I finished my video yesterday saying, drop me a few nice lines, much appreciated and much needed these days. And thank you. Just like these things are so therapeutic, they make a difference for me. Thank you. David Porter, thank you so much for coming. Howdy. Um, things are here are still terrible with no end in sight. Only day will prevail. One day we will prevail. Well, David, please forgive us again. I we pray for you every day. I know things are not well. I know Russia is just getting the worst as ever. It's bombing more and more, despite all this talk with the Americans about peace and ceasefire and all of that. And they've gone mad. I don't know what else to say. So, Lorna, thank you. I got carried away a little bit. What about moving to Germany? The last question. Moving to Germany. Um, I don't know. Natasha is German. She's 1/4 German, I think. Yeah. So it makes my son German too. Natasha's mom speaks German fluently. And her mom, Natasha's grandma, I think her first language was German. She was native. So my wife has very strong German heritage. We have relatives. She has cousins who are also German. They got approved to go to Germany, to move to Germany as Germans. They're waiting for passports, but guess what? They've been waiting for, I don't know, 5 years. No, um, basically since the start of the war, this program, well, it still exists. It's like German reunification or something like for Germans, but repatriation. It still exists, but um, they have put it on pause. And I don't know. I never felt home in Europe for some reason. It's an odd feeling. I flew to the USA, and the first step I took the first breath, and I felt like I was home. I don't even know how to explain that. Germany is wonderful. I love Ordnung. Okay, I love how people are so law abiding. I love everything is run well. The best engineers, the best everything. But I don't feel home there. Plus, it's going to take years and years. It would take years and years, and I'd probably be I'd probably be dead by the time. Get approved. Anyway, friends, thank you so much. I apologize. I got carried away. Where is? Sorry. Uh, it's missing my prayers list. There's a specific person I'd like to pray. Hang on. Friends, please join me in prayer. Let's finish this live stream as usual with prayer. Thank you. Dear Lord Jesus Christ, thank you so much for everything you've given to us. Thank you for the food you've placed on our tables and roofs you've given us over our heads. Thank you for the loved ones in our lives and families. Our families, thank you for the children. Please give us wisdom to raise, to have the skies above our children's heads peaceful and safe. Please give us wisdom to raise our children in a way that they grow up and become adults, make this world a better place, and will not engage in any wars. For now, please keep our children healthy and safe. Dear Lord, I'm asking for Ukraine. Please stop the bloodshed. The country needs peace. Please help, send your angels to help everyone in Ukraine, help everyone who has been affected, answer their prayers, and make their wishes come true. Reach out and touch the hearts of those who can make the decision to stop the bloodshed, so they wake up and remember and feel that there is still love in their hearts and they're still humans, and that stop the bloodshed. Please help my country, Russia, assemble your strongest angels with sharpest swords into huge army led by Saint Michael in shining armor, and send this army down to this earth to get rid of the demons who have hijacked my country and have been abusing it and destroying it. The demons who we know by their names, by their faces. Please send your angels to help good Russian people to run the country, make it peaceful, loving, and respecting. Dear Lord, please help all those who are traveling, send them safe travels, who are in danger. Please help them, send them help. Please help those single mothers and fathers who are raising their children and struggling, trying to make ends meet. Help those who are helping Ukrainians. Help those who are in Ukraine who are under current attacks or threats, Russian attacks. Please provide safety. Dear Lord, I'm asking you to help those who are sick, homeless, jobless, addicted, crying, feeling betrayed, going through divorce, depressed, not feeling worthy, losing their faith, hurting, and feeling left behind by everyone. Please touch the heart of everyone in need, to let them know that you are still with them. You have not left them. You still love them. You still care for them. Still protecting and helping them. Send everyone in need this feeling of your love and warmth. Stand right next to every person who is in need. Thank you so much. Dear Lord, thank you for allowing us to come together and pray together after our virtual meetings after the live streams. Thank you for everyone who is praying right now along with me or simply watching us pray. Please help everyone answer their prayers and make their wishes come true. And I would like to ask for a few people. They are Rose Albert Bonneke. Please send her relief. Watch after her last days. I'm also asking for Ann Larson and her daughter Hannah, for David Porter, his family, and everyone who's in Chernovtsi. I'm asking for Jodes, for Sergey, for Natalia, Yelena, Michael, Olga, Dasha, Jake, and Sky. And I'm asking for Michael, for Larissa, Svetlana. I'm asking for Highwayman. I'm asking for David. Please help everyone in need. I'm also asking for Ukrainian cities of Kiev, Chernovtsi, Odessa, other cities who are under attacks. Please protect them, send safety to everyone. I am asking for your angels to come and protect all who have been affected by this terrible tragedy. Please help all the children affected. Have them reunite with their families. Keep them safe. Thank you so much, dear Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Thank you, friends, for coming. Thank you for supporting me, watching, liking, commenting, communicating, sending me good wishes. You are awesome and you rock. Please come back tomorrow for Crazy Friday news update. As usual, at the usual time. I'll share lots of important news that are nothing short of crazy. So, thank you so much. And as usual, before I sign off, I'd like to ask you to finish this live stream by saying, along with me, the following, as loud as you can after me. Carthago delenda est.